Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to make a video about how to become a flight attendant, or what to do if you're trying to become a flight attendant or you're just thinking about becoming a flight attendant. So a lot of people have been asking me how you get into this whole flight attendant thing, or how I got into this industry in the first place. And so that brings me to the first thing I want to talk about. So if you're someone that's looking to become a flight attendant, or you're interested in becoming a flight attendant, the first thing you should do is research. You have to do your research. Look into every single airline that you can think of. Make a list of all the airlines that you can think of, and then just take the time to go on their website. Look at what their requirements are. Look at where their bases are at, and then also most of the airlines have videos that you can go to. You can go on their website to watch videos about how their training process works, their hiring process, their interview process, and you can pretty much get most of the information that you're looking for. Some of the information you're looking for you're not going to get until you're out on the line and experience for yourself, but you can kind of get a gist of a flight attendant's life by going on their website. So some of the things that you have to keep in mind if you're looking to become a flight attendant is that chances are you are going to have to move. So for example, I was raised in California and I lived in California most of my life. So when I decided to take on this job, my airline was able to let me choose the base that I wanted to go to. So I chose my base, and I commuted for about 8 months. So commuting means you're pretty much going to work on a plane instead of going to work in your car. So you kind of lose a day off, pretty much, if that makes sense. I got tired of commuting. I have a 3-year-old. I have a husband. I missed my time at home, so we decided to move to where my base was at. A lot of people commute for years, but honestly, it can get expensive because you're paying for a crash pad, so a place where you stay in between trips or while you're waiting to get called if you're on reserve. So you have to pay monthly for those, plus your rent back home and food and all that, so it can get expensive, but some people like to do it. They don't like where their base is at, so they'd rather stay home, and it works for some people. For me personally, if I have to commute, I'll do it, but we chose not to my husband and I chose for me not to commute. Another thing is that you might be on call. So when you're on call, you're called a reserve flight attendant. So you're on call, meaning you have a schedule, a reserve schedule of, okay, so Monday through Friday, let's just say Monday through Friday, you're on call from 8 to 5, let's just say. Pretty much they'll call you if someone calls out, or if something happened on the trip, somebody got sick, or for whatever reason they need a replacement, they need another flight attendant. So that's why we have reserve flight attendants. The reserve flight attendants stay home a lot sometimes, so which is nice for some people because you get paid to stay home. You are still paid your guaranteed hours. They pay you whether they call you or not, so that's a good thing for some people. I personally don't like reserve because I like to have somewhat control of my life. I like to know where I'm going, I like to know when I'm working, and I like to know who I'm working with. You don't always know who you're working with, but I like to know. So that's why I don't like reserve. Luckily, I'm able to hold a line at my airline. A line holder means you know where you're going, you know who you're working with, and you know when you're working. So you have to keep that in mind. You will be a flight attendant once you get through training, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're always going to fly. So you have to be ready for that. The reserve life is not that bad. If you're part of an airline that you're on reserve for a few years, it just becomes your lifestyle. Another thing is that you do have to pass training. That just because you get hired, it doesn't mean you're a flight attendant. You have to go through training, and you have to pass training. So depending on the airline, you need an 80%, a 90%, or whatever it is that the airline requires you to have. My airline only got 2 test retakes. Let's say I failed the second test. They gave me a chance to retake it. If I didn't pass it the second time, then I would go home. And when you go home, you don't have a job. So you spent all that time in training, and now you don't have a job. My next point is, most of the time training is unpaid. Yeah, meaning if you're in training for 8 weeks 7.5 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, however long the training is, you do not get paid. This is why I'm saying you need to do your research and go on every single airline, because that information is on there. Some of them will tell you, yes, we pay, no, we don't pay. Training's unpaid, training is this long. So if you're planning on going to become a flight attendant and this is what you want to do, then I suggest having a cushion or having some savings or something like that. You don't, however, have to pay for your accommodations. As far as I know, I don't know if there's any airlines that don't pay for your accommodations, like hotels and stuff like that. But my airline, you didn't have to worry about that. They put us up in a hotel. Also, another thing that a lot of people ask me is, how are you a flight attendant when you have children? Or, when you have a family? I know that back in the old days, you weren't allowed, part of the requirements were for you to be single and not have a family. But that's changed. So it's been a few decades since it's changed, and believe it or not, a lot of moms are flight attendants. Even single moms are flight attendants. In my case, I have a support system and that support system is my husband. So he's able to watch my son, or not watch our son, but take care of our son while I'm out working. Believe it or not, I'm actually home more now than when I worked at the bank. I can be home sometimes for 12, 13 days at a time. So if you don't have a good support system, it's gonna be tough for you to get through this whole career as a flight attendant. You do get flight benefits and you do get medical, vision, dental, life insurance, 401k, and all that stuff, but keep in mind that the flight benefits are standby. So you don't have a guaranteed seat, and then if you travel international, you have to pay the taxes, which are nothing. I fly to Central America all the time and all I pay is $50. So, I mean, I don't mind flying standby. I'd rather pay $50 to fly standby than hundreds of dollars to go on vacation. The thing is that I know in the United States, we're not as strict as other countries are as far as your appearance and how much you weigh and what you look like and all that stuff. Some airlines are very strict about the way you look. So that requires makeup, that requires your hair up in a ponytail, that means your nails have to be manicured, your hair can't be crazy, it has to be like a natural tone. Even when you wear makeup, you can't look like you're going clubbing pretty much. A lot of people think we're waitresses in the sky, but you're there for more than just serving Coke to a passenger or alcohol or something like that. Yes, it's very customer service oriented, so if you have customer service experience, you'd be great for this, but it's not all that. It's not just about all that, I mean. So definitely keep that in mind, and service is something that you are required to do. So you're required to pick up trash. Some airlines require you to clean the planes. My airline doesn't, but some airlines do require you to clean the planes, or touch things, people throw up on you. I mean, you name it. You have to be prepared to handle any type of situation at 38,000 feet. Okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about is pay. So a lot of people wonder about pay the most. This is one of the things I get questioned about a lot. If you go into a major airline, then you start getting paid $18 an hour, $19 an hour, $22 an hour, $30 an hour, and so on. But you get a raise every year. After your 6 months, you got $3 raise, and then once you hit your 1-year anniversary, then you got $1 raise, and then every year you get a raise. And then depending on the airline, if it has a contract like a union, then you have a max that you hit. So I know some airlines are maxed out at $37 an hour, and then that's it. You don't get any more than that. Seniority is everything in the airline industry. So if you're thinking and you're serious about becoming a flight attendant, do it as soon as you can, because the longer you wait, the longer it's going to take for you to build and get seniority. Alright everyone, so that concludes this video. I hope you enjoyed and you found this useful. I know I rambled on a little bit, but if you have any questions, or if I didn't answer any of your questions, please leave a comment down below and I'll try to get back to you as fast as I can, or as much as I can. Also, please give this video a big thumbs up if you found it useful. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you next time. Bye.